So, Shark Tank, what'd you guys think? Alright, so here's the deal. This is going to be my post-Shark Tank interview wrap-up video. I haven't really planned anything. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about the experience, my thoughts on what happened or what you saw happen, and tell you kind of what's next for me and Alpha M. Basically, Shark Tank has been my favorite show for a long time. Being an entrepreneur, I just love that show. I love seeing people go in with ideas. As far as the investors, the sharks, they can be tough and they can be pretty nasty at times, depending on the person that's in there, depending on the idea. And I knew this, but I wanted to basically expand or get advertising, free advertising and marketing for Alpha M. And I was going to try and attempt to use the style system as the quote-unquote invention that I was going and pitching and using as, you know, leverage to get an investor. Well, here's the deal, and this is sort of the behind the scenes, nobody knows except you guys. I didn't want a deal. There was zero chance of me taking a deal from one of those 5 investors. This doesn't mean that I'm not open to business partnerships or relationships, but as far as they're concerned, I want nothing to do with them. And here's why. Those people, those 5 people, the sharks on the show, they have made a ton of money, and they are very savvy business people in their respected fields. But what happens is, I've sort of started thinking about this. They invest and they start investing in all these different businesses and own a piece of all these different businesses. Mark Cuban does not call up his business partners that he makes on Shark Tank and be like, hey, how's everything going? Do you need me to do an appearance? They've got people to do stuff and attorneys. You basically are getting money and then you are dealing with their people. So the benefit of using the celebrity of that person is kind of out the window. Now, there are 2 types of people that go on Shark Tank. Those that are really needing the money and need the money to actually expand the brand, expand the business. And if they don't get the money, they're kind of screwed. They need it to survive. And then the other group of people are people like me who just know that this is the best advertising that you can possibly get. You cannot, I cannot anyway, money cannot buy the exposure and the advertising that 7 minutes on national television at prime time on a primetime network can actually generate. Did that make sense? You can't pay for that kind of advertising. And so, one thing that I learned a long time ago is the best type of advertising is the free publicity. Paid advertisement, not so much. But that free stuff, ooh, if you can pull it off and do it well, you are in for a treat. Well, anyway, 30,000 people applied to Shark Tank, and I was one of the lucky first groups of people to go out and actually film for this season. I was actually the first group to go out. And I met some of the most incredible people I have ever been around in my life. It was the trip to go tape Shark Tank was one of the top 3 experiences that I've ever had in my life. I'm not blowing any smoke, regardless of the outcome, regardless of how they edited that thing that we saw on television. The people that I meet, the experience was just amazing. I met some of the smartest, most ingenious entrepreneurs I've ever been around. I felt so dumb talking to some of these guys, but just smart, sharp guys. It was amazing being around that many go-getters that I was in awe of all these guys. And you are going to see some amazing inventions if you watch this season of Shark Tank. Just solid trip, solid guys. Now, going out and being on Shark Tank, that was actually quite the experience, and I know that I'm kind of sworn to some type of secrecy about how the show is produced and what you see and this and that, but what you see is pretty much what you get, aside from the editing. Now, editing, I was in there for 40 minutes talking and pitching and all that good stuff. The worst part about the pitch was once they open the doors, you walk in, it's dead silent. They don't have like music or anything like that. There's no announcer's voice being like, next into the tank. Anyway, you walk in, there's a place on that little oriental carpet that there's an X, you've got to stand. And you've got to stand there in dead silence for 30 seconds and have a stare down with the sharks. And so, I'm doing this, right? And so I go out there and I'm standing there and I'm, you know, getting ready for my pitch. And here's the deal. I knew going in, I was either going to go and do really well, I was going to stand up for myself and project confidence and project just a really solid, you know, company, or I was going to go in there and be a puss and be beaten around and take no for an answer. or I was going to go in there, stand up, and fight for what I believe in, and that's the option that I took, obviously. Hopefully it came across that I was confident and I was definitely not taking anybody's crap. Well, anyway, so you go up and you stand there, and I'm standing there in front of these people, and all of a sudden I look over at Barbara and she goes, oh my, and she whispers to Robert, the guy next to her, she goes, oh my gosh, look at his ears. Seriously. Barbara made fun of my ears being like pointy when I'm standing there getting ready to do the biggest presentation of my life, and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me, this is ridiculous. But I blew it off. I pushed it down, I'm like, it is time, it is showtime, baby. Because I make YouTube videos. What that was so in my sweet spot, it was ridiculous. I had so much fun doing it. They had to pull me out of there. I'm like, really, I gotta go? But this brings me down to the editing and what actually happened and transpired in the Shark Tank and what you actually saw in the Shark Tank episode. I was in there for about 40 minutes. The style system was one small aspect of the greater pitch. I was pitching the crap out of Alpha M. I am Alpha M. If you guys are new and haven't actually seen any of my videos or have been to YouTube, I have a website, I am Alpha M. There's a link below. Go check it out, where I post like 60 videos and articles a month. All sorts of great stuff. There's a forum inside just for members. It's awesome. They didn't mention any of that. I got a ton of members. What else? Alpha M. I talk about Alpha M, the company, like crazy. I talk about you guys. I talk about my international clients and that I'm doing it for the men and what else? And YouTube, I talk about 50,000 subscribers, and then I do this great thing where I go down the line. They're like, Damon's like, oh, well, why won't they just go to GQ, or what about GQ's channel? And so I start rattling off, oh yeah, GQ's got 1,700 subscribers. And hey, Mark Cuban, your professional basketball team's got 3,500. This network, ABC, has 20,000 followers. I got 50,000. It's not about how much money you have, baby. It's about your message and making that emotional connection with the consumer, you guys. And, you know, whatever. So anyway, so I'm all excited. Barbara Corcoran, whatever, sitting on the end, before I get done, she goes, I could watch you all day long. I'm like, woo, money shot. So I'm thinking that this is gonna push a lot of people to YouTube, and that's really ultimately what I wanted. I'm like, oh, everybody's gonna go to YouTube and then sort of, you know, whatever, kumbaya, right? Wrong. So I watch it, and there is zero mention, really, of Alpha M, about what I'm doing, about I am Alpha M, my membership website, about YouTube. They didn't mention YouTube. I spent 20 minutes talking about YouTube and how we're changing the way that we market to customers and emotional connections and stuff like that. Some of my A material totally got removed. I'm getting a little bit warm in here talking about that. So then I watch it on TV. I got a bunch of friends over, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. 7 minutes. So I'm pissed. I'm like, they edit, what? Like half the stuff, like they cut like half of my pitch out. They spliced and I mean, whoa. Like editing, not even remotely close to how it actually went down in the Shark Tank. I did so much better in the Shark Tank talking and debating with these people because I'm pretty quick on my feet and I'm pretty witty and I had a lot of great responses and I was prepared, baby. I was so ready for that, it was ridiculous. They couldn't throw anything at me that I wasn't smashing out of the park. The bottom line, they didn't like the concept, they didn't like the idea, they didn't like whatever, but that's not really their thing. And it's cool. I actually was prepared for somebody to offer me something, and I actually had a way of actually removing and saying, you know what, I don't think this is right for my business. Because here's the deal. You don't believe in what I'm doing, you don't believe in the message that I'm sending, guess what? I don't want you even remotely close to my business in Alpha M, because at the heart of what I do is you. It's all about you guys, and that's the beginning and the end of it. You know, I feel like we're really building a community, and you know, I really do feel like the message is starting to resonate and starting to get a little bit more popular slowly. But, you know, I do what I do for you. And so anyway, overall, I don't know where I'm going. This was the most rambling video ever. Overall, I watched it the next morning, and I was like, okay, This could have been a lot worse. I came across well, they didn't like it, but they didn't make me look like an ass. I mean, I've seen some people on Shark Tank, and I've just been like, oh, you poor thing. But here's the deal, another deal, the 18th deal of this video. There is no downside. It's public. Even if they would have said, Aaron, you are a big-eared, conceited jerk who has no idea what he's doing in business whatsoever, I would have been like, okay, thanks, it was nice to meet you too. Because there's no downside. That type of publicity, people are going to go to your website, people are going to find you. And that's kind of what happened. What I was hoping would come out of this is that, other than YouTube subscribers and people finding me on YouTube, which isn't happening apparently, is that, oh, there's another link below. If this is the first you're ever really seeing of me and you just recently signed up for my newsletter, go below, there's a link to my YouTube channel. Yeah, I make YouTube videos, lots of them. And they're good. And that's why my beard's fuzzy, because I'm about to do a whole beard maintenance thing in like a day or so for YouTube. I need something to drink. I'm parched and I'm talking a lot. Anyway, what I was hoping would come out of that is that I would get some business contacts. I do feel that I need help with my business. I feel like I could use some type of business manager, somebody that can see the big picture. I get so caught up in the minutia of what I'm doing that it's really difficult to see the big picture. I'm not a marketing expert. I'm not a, I feel that there is potential to actually grow my business and do it in a smarter, more methodical way. And so I've been getting a ton of contacts by experts that are going to help me take my business to the next level. The downside, I don't trust anybody. So, anyway, gentlemen, I think that was pretty much the long version of how I felt Shark Tank was, my experience. My experience overall was priceless, and it was amazing, and the people, Clay, the producer, executive producer, just them all out there, class act. It was one of the best experiences of my life. It was funny because I'm in a van with all these other entrepreneurs, and we're driving onto the set, Sony studio, and I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, oh my gosh, Wheel of Fortune, Alex Trebek's car. Like, it was awesome, right? So anyway, let's see, wrap this video up. 3 links below. First link is to I Am Alpha M. If you haven't been there in a while, check it out. We are doing some great stuff there, and it's a lot of fun. It's a way for us to get more involved and more engaged. Tons of video, tons of article, tons of content. You also have the ability to ask me as many questions as you want, whenever you want. The other link below is to my YouTube channel, and the last link is to my downloadable style system. If you guys are interested, 25% off the downloadable version. Actually, I'll tell you what, you want to download any of my downloadable products, style system, dating, grooming, my ebook, the Male Style Guide, for the next 48 hours, 25% off if you enter the code Shark Tank at checkout. But after 48 hours, it's going away, but I just wanted to offer you guys something in case you wanted to check it out, but didn't want to pay my exorbitant fees. But guys, I love you and appreciate you more than you know, and wanted to just thank you for continual support and for always being there for me. And I'll talk to you soon on YouTube on Friday. Bye-bye.